Hi, Kevin Coop here, and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy. So Bloomberg had a story the other day about how traditional brick and mortar chains are starting to strike some innovative partnerships with their arch competitor, Amazon, turning to unconventional arrangements in the hopes of getting shoppers back into their stores. If executed properly, the story says, there's a good chance these once unthinkable alliances and could end up being a rare win-win scenario, with both the legacy retailer and Amazon getting something they need to unlock new growth. And now, it's interesting. We've had covered some of this on Morning News Beat. Sears is going to start installing tires that you buy on Amazon. Kohl's is taking Amazon returns. Best Buy is going to start selling Fire TVs both in its stores and as well as selling its own merchandise on Amazon. And Chico's, well, they're going to start selling their own label clothing for women on Amazon. Now, I totally get the rationale behind these moves, right? At Chico's, CEO Shelley Broader, who's an old friend of mine, told CNBC the other day that she's hoping to use Amazon to drive customers to stores that, quite frankly, could use them. At Kohl's and Best Buy, they have different motivations. They are in different situations. But again, the goal is the same. Drive traffic, hopefully drive sales and profits. And at Sears, well, let's face it, it's an act of desperation. They're just hoping to do any deal that'll stave off total extinction, having already achieved irrelevance and obsolescence. You know, there's not a lot of mountains left for the Sears guys to climb. But while I can imagine the Amazon relationship could help these companies short term, I just think they really have to be careful. I think they're playing with fire in a lot of ways. Because Amazon's omnivorous, right? It knows there are certain things that physical stores can do better than it can right now. And it knows there's things it can do better than physical stores. But it's only out for its own interests at this point, not anybody else's interests. I mean, a friend of mine used to say, listen, you can do business with Amazon, but you can't really, or you can do business on Amazon, but you can't do business with Amazon. It's an important distinction. Because at the end of the day, Amazon wants to build its own ecosystem. That's what it wants to do. And it's dangerous, I think, for retailers to give Amazon access to its platforms, no matter what they get in return, in terms of a long-term strategy. Because Amazon's going to use these things, they're going to learn from these things, they're going to experiment on these things to grow their own business model. But at the end of the day, there's only one company Amazon's really interested in, and that's Amazon. It's interested in its own brand, not anybody else's brand. Companies can do business in terms of as third parties, part of the marketplace. But to think that you can have a long-term strategy partnering with Amazon, I think is really, really dangerous. You know, it's the old line from The Sun Also Rises, right, by Ernest Hemingway. The question is, how do we go bankrupt? Slowly and then all at once. I think if these retailers aren't really, really careful about watching out for their backs, watching their brands, tending to their own brand equity, they're really in danger of being a slow dissipation of their brand equity, and then suddenly it'll be gone. And if they don't do that, well, quite frankly, the sun's going to go down and it's not going to come up. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.